Hey guys, Ashley, God's Country. Um, I own God's Country Archery, and we're soon to add some RC products to our line. I've been into RC since the early '80s, mid '80s actually. Probably I built my first Balsa RC plane. I must have been 10 or 11 years old, so I've been doing RC for quite some time. Um, I started helicopters, flying them probably in 2010, and I really enjoyed it. They were small, compact, challenging. We started off when we were doing flybarred stuff, and then slowly watched the industry change into the flybarless helicopters that we have today. And wow, it's certainly changed the industry. The flybarless control systems allowed pilots to spend more time in the air and less time on the bench. And if you've ever owned a flybar heli, they do fly great. And once you learn to fly them, you don't have as many crashes. And the larger they were, the more stable they were. And so I started off with my first helicopter was the Blade MSR, I believe. And then the Blade SR, which was the worst helicopter I've probably ever flown. But it certainly taught me how to fly. I mean, you learn to hover the Blade SR and fly some simple circuits, you can fly just about anything. I moved on into the Align Trex 450 flybar, and then kind of went from there. Started building flybarless units, shortly after that. But the popular question all the time is, what helicopter to start off with? And it's certainly there's a lot of ways that you can go. Now I'm going to tell you my preferences. I'm going to show you some things that I like. I'm going to show you some things that I don't like. And so I'm going to start off that one of the most popular helicopters I see out there in the market now is the Horizon Hobby Blade 230S. Now, the Blade 230 is it's a good helicopter, but it's got its quirks, and when things go wrong, they go really wrong. And so for me, I did fly it a little bit hard as I could fly it, and I noticed that the stability was a little bit lacking. The ground effect from the helicopter was a little bit troubling, and so I never really liked it. I've had the V1 and I had the V2, and Sammy's barking at a bug. He's on the floor barking at a bug. It's okay, buddy. And so I'm going to show you what's left of my 230, and I'm going to show you that I just stopped messing with it. In this bag is what's left of my 230, and I have rebuilt this thing several times. This is what's left of my 230, and I may one day put this back together. It's got upgraded Emax, metal geared servos, digital stuff. I mean, this was a good helicopter, and I got everything I need to rebuild it. But honestly, I'm probably going to put it right back in this bag where I found it. And I'm going to tell anyone out there that starts to, I'm not bad mouthing this Joker. It was an okay helicopter. It flew decent, and you can learn to hover and fly some circuit with it, but it was not my favorite. And I'm going to show you what I feel is a very good place to start with helicopters. So one of my favorite, it's still one of my favorite, is this little guy right here, this X10. You can pick this thing up for dirt cheap. It comes in a pretty little carrying box here, and this is it. And it's very similar to a helicopter I used to fly years ago. Let me run grab it. Hang on a second. Which was this little guy. You can see the similarities in them. I mean, they're really similar. And this was the Helimax, and this was the Ace 120. This was a collective pitch helicopter. It was small, very powerful, very capable helicopter. It was brushed. It had a very advanced flybar system for the years. I think this guy came out somewhere around 2014, 2015. Really impressive helicopter. And so I've rebuilt this thing and punished it and crashed it. I can't tell you how many times. And so when this guy came out, I thought, okay, let me give it a try. And so I picked this helicopter up. I switched the plug out so I could run some real popular Blade Horizon Hobbies batteries because they're pretty powerful. They slide right in here, so I just switched the plug out. This helicopter can take a beating. And the stabilization on this flight board right here makes this helicopter very easy to handle. It hovers well, it handles well. It's not unpredictable, and it's large enough so that you get that large helicopter feel. And when I say that, and you won't experience this probably till you step up to some other helicopters and you start feeling what a large helicopter feels like. So some of my Goblins, or my larger line helicopters, when it goes in the air, it takes a lot to get it to start moving, and you can feel it when it stops. And so the larger the blades, the more stable the platform, and this helicopter just feels large in the air. Now you can ramp this thing up to a very, very high head speed, and you can throw your limits on up there and push it to the extremes, and this guy can get away from you quick. And so it can go multiple sides. You could take it in a stabilized mode, where it is just it's easy to fly, or you could throw it in full acrobatic mode, and this guy can get out of here. This is a good helicopter to start off with. Parts are easy to find. Not that I think you're going to need them. I put this one into the ground many times, and I have yet to break anything. I popped some of the servo arms off and some of my linkages to my swash plate, but other than that, I'm not even stripped of gear in it. This is a good helicopter to start with. You're gonna like it. I can't say enough. This is the XK 110, and so people wonder where to start. This is a good place to start. Now, with that being said, I picked this joker up as a binding fly. I did another video where I talked about Spectrum radios and stuff like that. The radio that I choose to fly on most of the time was my Taranis X9. I switched this year to the Radio Master T16S. I love this radio. It's far from a cheap radio. Look, I can't brag on this guy enough. This is an awesome radio. So I fly this helicopter with this radio, pick it up as a binding fly, and you've got a good package. And you can fly everything out there from Horizon products. I mean, there's nothing that this thing that can't link to. I've not found anything I couldn't bind to. So, coupled up with that, great helicopter. Now, people ask, where can I go to from there? Well, I'm going to show you. I have got a helicopter from O&P, Highway Base Company, and this is probably the most awesome helicopter I've ever put in my hands. I'm going to show it to you. They make another helicopter of 200 size from Mikado, or they work together with Mikado to produce it. But this is the O&P one. This one comes in a little bit cheaper. I also got it as bind to fly. I fly it with my T6 with my Radio Master. And let me show it to you. So this right here, this is a little bit of an upgraded version. This is the M2, and this is the version 2. And so this is a 200 millimeter helicopter. Comes in a pretty little box right here. We'll break it out and show it to you. I've got some flights on this one, but I want to show you this helicopter. Look at this thing. I know it's pink. It's the only one that Dan had at the time in stock, but I kind of like it. Grew on me. It's purple, but it's kind of pink. But anyway, I love this thing. This helicopter has weight. I mean, it's heavy. It's got an awesome boom on it. Plastic combination of fiberglass parts. It's just awesome. I mean, it feels like you're flying a 500 plus size bird. Now, the looks of this thing's pretty impressive in itself. You can see the anodizing on the motor. It's got a brushless tail motor. One of the coolest features of this helicopter, I'll show it to you, is the fact that it has a direct drive brushless motor. Check this out. Direct drive, no gears, no belts. You're not stripping this thing out. And if you look at it, you've got your CNC head in here. You've got your metal geared servos. They're aluminum housed, so they're going to cool easily. All the way around. Look at this. You got your flybarless system in the front. Excellent flybarless system. Excellent stabilization. You could put this thing in a stabilized mode, and this helicopter is rock solid in the air. It does not want to move. But let me tell you something. I fly this thing typically on about a 65 to a 70% head speed. That's where I'm running it in normal. When I ramp this thing up and pull it to full head speed, and I take it up to 12 degrees, so there's all kinds of settings for this thing, but if you run this thing on 12 degrees, positive and negative, this helicopter is nasty. I'm talking about it has more power than you could possibly handle. It's not lacking for anything. There's nothing this little bird can't do. But you could tame it down, and it's going to be one of the easiest helicopters that you'll never fly. Cool thing about this helicopter as well is if you look on this side here, it's got, I can't do it when I'm, set this down a second. It's got battery trays. Battery bolts onto the tray. Simply slides back into and locks into using this little keyway right here. So you end up with a very, very solid helicopter. It sets your CG up perfect every time. Can't say enough about it. Pick you up an XK, pick you up one of these OMPs right here. You don't have to get the M2V2, the upgraded version. You can get it with the plastic componentry. I chose this because I knew what I was getting when I did with the Ohio products. So if you're picking up a second helicopter, you've already flown the 110 a little bit, you're considering a 200 series helicopter, this is the way to go. Thanks again, guys, and have any questions, message me. If you want to pick one of these birds up, let me know. Thank you.